Hello everyone, my name is Petros and I welcome you to the presentation of 3D neural sculpting, a method for local editing of neural sign-distance functions. We deal with networks which represent the surface implicitly as the zero-level set. Specifically, the networks are trained to approximate the sign-distance function of the surface. Our method aids at providing editing capabilities for these representations. We draw inspiration from 3D sculpting, which uses tools called brushes to edit the surface locally. Before our work, this technique has been used solely for meshes. However, our method allows the user to work on the neural representation directly. They select the interaction point, a brush radius and brush intensity, and affect the region around the point, for example by creating bumps or dents. Multiple such edits make possible the creation of complex deformations. We hope our work will help pave the way for the adoption of these novel representations by mainstream applications. DeepSDF by Park et al. Was the first work to introduce neural SDFs. Since then, a plethora of works have proposed different network architectures and loss functions in order to achieve more detailed results and accurate approximation of the distance function. However, the editability of these representations has not been studied to the same degree. Most existing methods either optimize the shape code or train networks for articulated objects, and consequently the editing is limited inside a learned shape space. We rely on the implicit geometric regularization loss function, as it does not require ground truth distances but only samples lying on the target surface. The main challenge we encounter is how to enforce locality, since in general modifying any of the network's weights affects its output in an unbounded region of the input domain. Our solution is to generate the point cloud that is used to evaluate the loss by including samples of the unedited surface outside the interaction, as well as samples of the alter region. The former serve to minimize deformation artifacts outside the interaction region. Following existing approaches for sampling the implicit surface, we first initialize the sample set by distributing points uniformly in a bounding box of the surface and then projecting them onto it. Then we propose to produce new samples using Markov chain sampling by perturbing the existing ones tangentially and reprojecting them. We saw that this way of sampling produces a much more uniform distribution relative to the naive way of reinitializing a sample set. We formulate the brushes as 2D functions with support over a disk. Specifically, we scale a template with the radius and intensity as parameters. The table shows how these parameters can be used to control the deformation. In order to produce samples of the edited surface region, we sample the tangent disk at the interaction point, project the points onto the surface, and then move them along the normal at the interaction point according to the brush function's value. We combine these samples with the samples of the unedited surface to produce the final sample set using the loss function. We evaluate our method by comparing to mesh editing. A higher resolution mesh serves as the ground truth. The same edit is executed with every method. We compare against the simplified mesh that has approximately the same memory footprint as the network, and a naive approach of not including samples of the unedited surface in the loss. We can see that the naive approach fails to keep the surface intact outside the interaction, while the simple mesh does not have enough resolution to represent the intended edit. In contrast, our method does not suffer from these adversities. We also provide quantitative results. The dataset comprises a custom collection of natural and primitive shapes and some shapes from ShapeNet. We execute the same 10 independent edits on every shape and calculate the mean chamfer distance. In every case, our method outperforms the others. Thank you for your attention.